It's going. Okay. All right, everybody. It's 6 o'clock, so we'll call our meeting to order. Just as a reminder, no one is on camera, but we are recording the meeting, just so you guys are aware of that, and everyone is aware online. Um, right now, he's expecting his second grandchild any minute now, so we wish him well, and he's in a better place. He's where he should be. Let's put it that way. The agendas are on the back there. There's also budgets for 2025 on the back there. If you didn't have an opportunity to grab one, you can grab one now. The first order of business is the HOA board election. Is there anybody in attendance that has not cast a ballot and wishes to do so now? We've got one. Okay. Yeah. No, he's gonna need. Do you have a ballot or do you need one still? Okay. Ryan will hook you up. However, we do have to hit a quorum of 20%, which is 73 votes. With his vote, we'll hit 54. So we do not have a quorum to hold the election. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to do what we've done in the past, and we're going to have to adjourn our annual meeting up until next week. So on February 3rd at 6 o'clock, we will be here again. We have the room reserved. At that point in time, our quorum drops down to 10%, which is 37 votes. So we have a total of 54. So we know we have one. So we can actually hold the election and count the ballots and record the results. So we can't go forward with that today, but we will do that February 3rd at 6 o'clock. If anybody wants to come out and watch us do that, you're more than welcome to. If not, that's fine too. So we'll skip over that. Yes, so the annual meeting is adjourned, and we will now convene because we can't do anything else. So we will convene a standard community meeting like we do every quarter. Review of the 2025 adopted budget. This was adopted by. I'll also go over. Well, because they might not want to come next week, so I'll go over it twice if I have to. The 2025 budget was adopted by the board. On that sheet, you'll see our actuals from 2022, 23, and 24, and then the 2025 budget on the right-hand column. Just a couple of things that I'll point out, and I'm happy to take any questions. Under landscaping improvements, you'll see that we've budgeted for $7,000. That's more than we have in the past. The reason why we're doing that is because we do anticipate doing 2 of the islands along Trio Farms Boulevard this year and redoing that landscaping, specifically where I can't think of where the streets intersect there, but where there is roses currently, but they're not doing very well. They don't get enough sun. They're not looking so hot. So we want to take those out and have A2D put in something that would be more suitable for the conditions there. So we'll be doing that this year, which is why we allocated $7,000 for that line item. Then the pond plantings and maintenance, that's a little bit higher as well, because as we'll get into a little bit further on in the meeting, we are going to be doing herbicide spraying treatments this year through Tigris to keep the vegetation that was just cleared knocked back. And that'll be out of that line item. Other than that, there wasn't really anything that I wanted to highlight at current. Our reserves as of the December 2024 financials that just closed out, we are just a little over $287,000 in savings, CDs, money market accounts to save for the future when we have to be responsible for more of the upkeep of the community and Kay is finally out of here. And then we have about $46,000 currently in our operating fund. Does anybody who's in the audience have any questions about that? Pete, you were first. Uh, just worst case scenario. It's not necessarily what we're going to spend. I mean, like if you look at the actuals for 2023, we literally spent $0 on snow removal. Last year was another year where there wasn't much spent. So when we do snow removal with A2D, it's time and material that we pay. So depending on what we get, this year hasn't been too bad. But certainly wasn't 2023 when we spent nothing. But yeah. It's not because no fines have been levied. We never include in our budget the capital contributions that we get, late fees that get paid when people don't pay their dues, and fines. We just don't budget for that. That's just basically icing on the cake, so to speak. If we do get a house that gets sold or somebody pays their late fees, that's just a little bit more that goes into the till. She was next. To be determined. We haven't gotten an update from Kay as far as if there are additional plantings that are going to be done further up the way. If they're not, it's something that we have sort of discussed when we talked about doing the other plantings. So we would like to probably see those get done so that all of them are, similar.
Just waiting for Kay to finish up, basically.
Hmm. No, we just do the common sidewalks. They do a strip along the parking areas in the back, where a sidewalk will eventually be. But that's all that A2D does currently. And then K is still obviously planting, is plowing the roads. We did realize this year that they have contracted that out. So it's no longer K employees that are doing it. It was contracted out to a landscaping company. I forget the name. Not doing a terrible job, not doing a great job. They are at least salting, which we haven't really seen in the past. So we're happy to see them actually salting in addition to plowing. And we only had to call them back once this year so far, which was kind of nice. But any other questions about the budget? No? Okay. The good news, 2025 dues will remain the same, $35 a month, $420 a year. If anybody needs help paying those dues, see Mr. Ryan Martin over here. He'd be happy to help you get on a payment plan or do one lump sum. An audit, we are currently in the middle of having an audit done of our financials. Nothing to report on that at this point because it's not complete yet, but it is ongoing. Any questions about that? Okay. MRH contract renewal. Yes, we are staying with MRH Enterprise still for 2025. Just making sure that everybody's aware that we did. It's been a couple of years since we have seen a price increase, but we did see a price increase this year. It's $80 a month. Went from $13.30 a month. And then in addition to that, we are now responsible for paying for 50% of all postage, envelopes, copies, and mailing supplies. Previously, that was all paid for by MRH. That is no longer the case. Originally, when they came to us with the increase, they were going to make us pay 100% of it. We talked to Joshua, the owner of MRH, and we worked with him to get that number down to 50%. And that's what we've signed on to for starting January 1st, 2025. So just wanted to make everybody aware that we're still going to do the best that we can, to be sending out letters and newsletters and everything like that. But we are also going to be very cognizant of, what exactly we're, putting out there and making sure that we get the best bang for our buck, since we are going to be paying for half of those costs.
And just because of that, you'll see extra line item under the administrative expenses. So office expense mailing $2,000 for this year. And that agreement is only understanding is only for this year. We'll see how it plays. and it might change next year as well. It might go up.
So they have MRH has a breakdown of, postage is what it is, but like what a sheet of paper costs, what an envelope costs, what all that costs. They have that doesn't cost us anything. It's just strictly the mailings and the printing. Um, our most expensive mailers for sure are the election and any amendment votes that we do. Those are quite costly in comparison to the other ones, which is why we've stayed. I mean, we have to do a board election every year. That's just built in. But if we were going to do in any type of amendment votes, we would want to stick to one per calendar year to keep those costs down, just because of how much it costs us to do one of those.
Might see the newsletters which were coming out and mailer might be electronic now instead of paper mail or the snail mail. That's one way to cut down the cost.
Yeah, and we had taken the number. Ryan came up with a number basically for 2024, and that's how we came up with that $2,000 number that we have in our budget for 2025. That was approximately what we spent in 2024. Look.
So if you have any neighbor or friends who know that they have not signed up, I think this is the best way to convince them sign up for email on sync. That way they get all the mailers which are sent by mail. It's tough to explain somebody who comes back and say, I didn't get it. Yeah, but you were not signed up either, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
We actually have a provision in our bylaws that dictates how we have to give out notices. So unfortunately, a lot of that does need to go out via regular mail. We have had discussions about looking to change that item in the bylaws so that we can do electronic as well. And an individual could either, we don't know how it would work yet, but could either opt in to email or opt out. But that's to be determined. But that is something that we've looked at to control the cost. And along those lines too, about signing up for sync and having your email and everything up to date, we will be putting out information in, I don't know, probably like the next 2 weeks or so, to remind everybody, as we usually do on an annual basis, just to update their contact information to make sure we have your correct email, we have your correct phone number, we have who's living at the house, all that standard sheet that's on the sync platform is there for people to update their information, and we're going to be putting that out again so that hopefully we can capture more of those emails. Else on that one. On to the ponds. The vegetation project, cleanup project, is essentially complete. There is still additional work that's going to be done, but it's basically along the lines of planting grass seed and things like that Kay is going to be doing. So that's obviously not going to get done now. It's going to get done in the spring. But the contractors have come in. They have taken out all of the vegetation that they can basically get to at this point. And we have paid our bill on that one. So that project is closed out. No trespassing signs. We have installed five additional no trespassing signs around the ponds. Now that they're cut back a little bit more, they're a little bit more accessible. So we have 5 signs that we put up in addition to the 2 that were there previously, just telling people to stay out. Don't go ice skating, don't go fishing, don't go swimming, don't be stupid and endanger your life by going anywhere near those ponds. So we have those out there that we just recently installed. And then the herbicide spraying program, we have signed a contract with Tigris. They're the ones who installed the fountains. They're the ones who do the maintenance on them every year, take them out, put them back in for us. And they also do herbicide spraying for ponds. We entered into a contract with them. It's going to cost us $350 for a 3-year permit. You have to get a permit through Pennsylvania DEP and the Pennsylvania Fish and Boat Commission. And then it's $750 per spraying. They've recommended to us that we do it twice. So we're going to take their recommendation and we're going to start with that next year. So sometime, we don't know exactly when yet, but it looks like it'll probably be April, May, sometime in there will be when the first spraying occurs. We will let everybody know when we have that date and blast that information out there so that people are aware. And I don't really know when the fall is going to occur yet. And just so everybody is aware, for the spring spraying, their advice to us is to allow some of the vegetation to grow back. So it is going to grow back in the spring. They want us to get it up to like a foot or 2 feet tall because that makes the application more effective than if we just sprayed it just around while there's nothing there. So you will see some of that growing back in the spring. Geese control and bird flu update. There really isn't any update on the bird flu stuff. I mean, beyond just stay away, don't touch anything, keep your pets inside, keep your kids off the pond, don't have them out there playing with a dead bird they come across if you can help it. Luckily, a lot of the migration has cut down significant in recent weeks, so we're not seeing the levels of geese out there that we have seen previously. We are currently looking at what we're doing out there as far as our geese control. We are utilizing the Geese Police Service again for 2025. We're going to be having a meeting with them in February to talk about is there other things that we should be doing now that the makeup of the ponds has changed and all that vegetation is cut back? Is there additional things we should be doing? Is there other things that we can be doing? We've also talked with Pocono Wildlife, and they've given us other suggestions from putting decoy swans out there, which they say are very effective and fortunately very inexpensive. It's like $150 or something for a pair of them, to putting mute swans out there, and we all get to have a pet. So we're kind of working through that right now, and we're gonna, just continue to look at it and make sure that we can kind of do what we can to keep them out of there. Yeah. Oh, they're willing. Pocono Wildlife said that we can have one for free if we wanted, but we don't know. Preet's not good at feeding it, and he's never gonna walk it, so So any questions on anything pond related at this time? No. And no, we're not filling them in with concrete. We're not filling them in with concrete. We can't. They're part of our stormwater management system. Because I've heard that from a couple of people here and there. So let's just spell that rumor. More than likely, at some point, there is significant pond work that is on the punch list for Kay to complete. It's from talking to Kay in the past, they have said that more than likely they would have to drain them fully to do everything that they need to do in there. So that will probably happen at some point. When it'll happen, we don't know yet. Speaking of closeout work, an update on the closeout work from Kay. We are dealing with a new individual at Kay. The gentleman that we were working with last year has moved on for greener pastures. So far, so good with the new gentleman. I talk with him several times a week. We're texting back and forth all the time. He's been very good with providing me information, asking me questions, which is nice to see, obviously. So far, so good. Trust but verify. I did ask him for an update on what they're planning for in calendar year 2025 as far as closeout work is concerned. What he sent over to me was they were in the community 2 weeks ago, week and a half ago or so. They were out there with their entire team, with their engineer, with their project managers, going around the entire community, looking at what has been done, what hasn't been done yet, and going over the punch list with their engineer. because of the turnover. They're not totally sure if things were addressed or not addressed, so they're working through that. And then once they have their game plan going forward, they will give that to Carroll Engineering, who's Lower Nazareth Township's engineering firm that they contract with, to have them check that before they start doing extensive work that they may have already done. I'll come back to you. They have, as you've seen, mobilized equipment, and they've begun removal and replacement of the cracked sidewalks and curbing. So that is going to continue to go on. Just so everybody's aware, they cannot pour concrete unless it's above 40 degrees. So there's only been one day so far that they've been able to actually pour concrete. But they have told us that they will keep those areas clearly marked, and they will fill them with modified stone so that they're up to the same level as the sidewalk until they can actually come out there and pour concrete. So that's what you're seeing going on there. The irrigation system that is going across the street across of Bremer Road. There's also the one in the northwest corner. That system has been ordered, and they are tentatively looking to begin installation of that piece in February of 2025. The topsoil stockpiles currently located in the northwest corner will tentatively be removed once the ground unfreezes and dries out a little bit. They are going to be following up with Lower Nazareth Township to provide them with as-built plans that they have to submit to them as far as the tree installation that they did previously, because it was not according to the plan. And then they anticipate the paving of the roads in April of 2025 once PennDOT's paving season starts, with the caveat of, as always, the list is weather dependent and based on material and subcontractor availability. We will keep everybody up to date as best we can with what's going on and when it's going to happen and how it's going to disrupt people's lives, because obviously paving and things like that are going to disrupt people's lives. That's why we say, please, please, please make sure that we have a good email address. When Ryan sends out an email from MRH, please just take a look at it. We know a lot of people do ignore the emails, unfortunately, but if they're paving in April 2025 and that starts and you can't access, Sweet Gum Drive, we want to make sure that the people that are on Sweet Gum or wherever are aware of it so that their lives aren't disrupted too badly. Yes. Yeah, they did essentially the best that they could so far. They know that they don't have them all. If there's any in particular, let us know, because I can let our contact at K know that. He's been very good about there was one, my next door neighbor had one that they didn't have marked. And they took care of that one. So yeah, so if there is any that you see that you're aware of, let us know so we can send it over to him and let him know that, hey, in front of 123 Sweet Gum, there's a cracked sidewalk that you guys don't have marked, but they'll be around. What, do you have one? Okay, I thought you had a cracked sidewalk. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So the good news is once the township comes in after they do any work in the community and they check off that that checklist that they have, of the punch list that they have to do, and they say, okay, the sidewalks are good, you can move on to the next thing. All of those improvements, whether it's the roads, the sidewalks, the drain field, anything that gets completed, it goes into an 18-month maintenance period with the township where we're still covered on top of that. So if during that 18 months something happens to the sidewalk, they will have to come back and they will have to replace it. But you're not wrong in that once K is fully gone and flew the coop, according to our declaration, homeowners are responsible for the sidewalks in front of their homes. And there are provisions for us to enforce them getting fixed when they need to be fixed. Mm-hmm. I mean, what we've been told by the township and what we've been told by Kay is that they can pour as long as it's over 40. And I mean, they pour foundations all winter long. They pour sidewalks all winter long. They pour curbs all winter long. I mean, they do have additives from what we were told by the township engineer and also Kay that they put in the concrete to allow it to cure properly when temperatures fall below 40 degrees at night, but at least to actually pour it during the daytime, it has to be above 40 degrees Fahrenheit. Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. An extra road kind of run past. Specify that area fairly wet. How people over. Well, once it's done, there won't be vehicles running up over the curb. The good news for you is that that's common area, so that's our problem if it does get destroyed in the future. Um, but I we can talk to them about it. I it would be unlikely that the township would force K to do anything that is not on the approved plans. Oh yeah, we can take a look at that. Yeah. Hmm. Well, they're not going to pave. They told us that they were going to take it out. They were going to take it out, but they're not going to not pave. But they're not going to put concrete back in until that project is fully complete. Just about. Yeah, we can definitely talk to them. Talk about grading. There. Mhm. I mean, there is grading work that's going to be that's going to be done back there. There is, specifications for how they have to, complete all of these different repairs and things. It's all laid out on all the different plans that were reviewed and approved by the township way back when. And it's all of the work that they're doing in the community is all inspected by the township engineer, Carroll Engineering. Um, Actually, pretty damn good engineer. They're a very good firm, well respected firm among municipalities. I know I've worked with them in different municipalities in the past. They are very much no nonsense. They are not very, in my experience, pro developer. They're very much more of a pretty vicious watchdog. So I'm very happy that the township made that change. It is now with Carroll Engineering as of last year. Yes, yes. And if you've ever gone to any of the Board of Supervisors meetings, uh, Justin is no nonsense, as no nonsense as they come. And he is always receptive to making sure that homeowners are protected. And he's been very good about, meeting with us. We meet with the township on at least an annual basis at a minimum to go over this and all types of other issues. He's been at that. He was very receptive to our concerns. His crew is out there constantly making sure that Kay is doing things, and we keep him in the loop to make sure that they're, and so everything that they do gets inspected by the township before something gets signed off on, and they'll make sure that it's done to the specifications that are out there, whether it's in the construction codes or whether it's in the plans, or whatever guideline, whatever bar they have to hit. They would be the ones that are responsible for making sure that they hit that bar. And we're going to be doing everything that we can as a board to make sure that we play our part well between the rock and the hard places, the township and K, and continue to bring things to both parties' attention so that we get the best product at the end of the day. Yes. Hmm. Probably not, because they're in two different phases. Okay. And then the next item is just something that I want to bring to everybody's attention. It's it's more or less an FYI at this point in time, because it's something that's being worked on between the township and K Builders. But I did attend a Board of Supervisors meeting on the 22nd. And Attorney Aztec gave a update on the letters of credit that K Builders has. Um, So I'll just read this here so I don't mix any words here. So there's seven letters of credit for the 7 phases of the development. So each phase has a letter. A letter of credit is a bank guarantee that money is available to complete the work in the development, like roads, utilities, sidewalks. If the developer can't finish the work, the bank provides those funds then to get it done. So if K goes bankrupt and they're gone, that money is there to finish out the community and protect the residents in the township. Lower Nazareth Township recently received notice from the bank that is holding these 7 letters that they are not going to be renewed. They are all set to expire on various dates. However, the first will expire on May 1st, 2025. At this point, Lower Nazareth Township has asked the bank and K to provide the date at which each letter was issued and when they're going to expire, how much is in each letter of credit, and the estimated cost of the completion work that's in each phase to which each letter corresponds. Currently, the township's attorney Astic, and engineer Justin Coyle, according to them, the non-renewal is most likely due to the limited action that K has taken to complete the remaining work, but it could also indicate financial weakness on the part of K Builders, although it's more likely their lack of action. Lower Nazareth Township, right now, they've contacted Jim Preston, who's the attorney for K Builders, and they've alerted him to the issue and that they're aware of it. They are working to set up a meeting with him over the next 30 days to discuss it and to figure it out. And an update will be provided at the next Lower Nazareth Township Board of Supervisors meeting. I, of course, I've asked to be kept in the loop, and Township Manager Lori Stauffer has let me know that she will do that. She intends to keep it on the agenda going forward until this is rectified. And at least for the first letter of credit, the one that will expire on May 1st, a decision or solution needs to be made by about April 2025 on that first letter. Some possible options. K can secure new letters of credit with another financial institution. Lower Nazareth Township can start the process whereby they would cash the letters out and use those funds to complete the remaining work. If they are cashed out, there is a formal legal process that Lower Nazareth Township must follow. And if cashed out, Lower Nazareth Township would then deposit the funds in an escrow account that would be used to complete the work in Trio Fields. And then Lower Nazareth Township can arrange for a contractor to complete the remaining work and bid out the work and award those projects out to contractors. Current estimates, and I will stress estimates because we don't know yet the actual numbers, but the estimates are that there is approximately $1.7 million in the letters of credit, and there's approximately a $1.8 million cost to finish out the community. So it's just basically wait and see right now. That's all we know. The township is working with K to come to a solution. And I'll certainly be keeping an eye on things, as will the board. And we'll be at township supervisor meetings to make sure, things are progressing. I did talk to Attorney Astic to see if it would be appropriate for the board to be involved in the discussions because we're not a party to this. Essentially, he said no. Kind of saw that coming, but wanted to ask anyway. So just wanted to let everybody know, put all the cards on the table as we all live here, and just let everybody know that information and that we'll continue to keep an eye on it. If anybody ever wants to come to a township supervisors meeting and see what goes on there, there's a public comment period if you ever want to be heard. 2 times a month. I think it's the second and the fourth Wednesday without checking online, but it is on the township's website. So if anybody ever wants to attend and have their voice be heard, you can. And they do publish the agendas on the website before the meetings occur. I think like 24 or 48 hours before they actually happen. So if you're looking for a particular hot topic that you're interested in, you can take a look at those and see if they're going to be talking about it at that particular meeting. Any questions on that? Yep. all over the place. Yeah. Yeah, I know. I know there's, I think, four from talking to our contact, there's 3 or 4 other communities that are basically in the same status as far as closeout work that ours is in. I'm not sure. It's possible. Yeah. And they're all a little different. And it depends on the community, it depends on the municipality, it depends on what the work is. So stay tuned. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah. There was no submitted questions, so we go to questions from the homeowners in attendance. So anything else that anybody has? Then we will adjourn. And what's that? Well, we will adjourn the community meeting and we will be back here on February 3rd at 6 o'clock to count ballots and announce the election results. And you're more than welcome to come and see that if you'd like. Thank you.